moving across my screen at light speed. Oh, it's
Yeah.
chat.
I mean, there were 3,500 people here, like on the YouTube video 2 days ago commenting Ozzy. So yeah, it's a little insane.
Oh snap! We're live.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually starting at 4:05.
Yep, my body is ready.
Very, very ready.
I want a Pepe Sylvia Luigi meme in this. I want them to like do something with that Always Sunny shot.
That would definitely be different.
You're going to be disappointed.
Just Luigi in a room with a bunch of conspiracy stuff on the wall, talking about ghosts.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I don't know. Charlie Day as Luigi makes sense to me. Like, it makes a lot more sense to me than Chris Pratt. So does Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I've been watching Reboot and I've been watching Schmigadoon, so I'm on a bit of a Keegan-Michael Key kick at the moment. It is weird. It's gonna be weird to hear him as Toad.
Yeah,
I think he's the one that I'm not too worried about out of everyone. I think if Seth Rogen doesn't laugh, fine. But if he laughs, that's not my dog.
He's gonna be like, hey, yeah, all right.
The rest
Bananas. Hey.
I'm just saying, like, God, his laugh is horrible.
I was going to get some bananas. Yeah, all right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just if they could edit out his laugh from every sentence he says, then it might be a good casting job. I am interested to hear Jack Black. I think he might be a great Bowser.
I'm hoping he does.
That's
like
what
something.
I'm most curious about.
Yeah,
I want something like kind of theatrical.
Yeah.
From him.
Yeah, I definitely want like a more bombastic Bowser, like the
have some of that, like a Shakespearean element to it almost. Like you know how
like the Super Mario RPG style attitude, or like the Odyssey, even how he behaved in Odyssey, I think would be funny.
Yeah, they have like some of the Koopa kids are in this movie too, right? I can't remember who plays them. I'm gonna pull up our article.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have that
on
hand.
Well, or you can drop it in chat.
I want Mario to look directly into the camera and say, "If you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please."
I don't think that's happening.
Is he just reading things out? Is he doing improv?
I think that's something Chris Pratt said.
That's the famous Captain Lou Albano Mario drugs PSA.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Mario was that show was very anti-drug for good reason. It was reaching kids, a lot of kids, won awards and stuff. I posted something in Evening Reading a couple days ago that was like it was footage from the Super Nintendo World, at Universal Studios in Japan. And they were like doing like the celebration between the Luigi and the Mario guys dressed up, and then they cut back to the Super Mario Super Show, and it was the exact same dance moves. I was like, "Yep, this is gonna be good." I just want to.
I want to go back and watch that show again, but I'm afraid to.
It's good.
At the time, it didn't hold up.
No, it's still good.
Still good.
Well, here's the thing, Ozzy. You've watched the show, right? So there's the in real life thing, where it's Lou Albano and they had guests and stuff, and
which
that
was
weird.
Great.
But the cartoon's actually not bad. The Mario cartoon's
we'll
not
agree
bad.
to disagree.
I think the Zelda cartoon is bad.
Dude,
I think the Zelda cartoon is cringe.
They did Mad Max on the original Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
I remember that.
They got props.
That's a great episode.
Yeah, like
that was pre-Mario Kart.
Yeah, the Zelda episode.
The Zelda show was terrible.
Bad.
Yeah.
That was the cringy one of the two.
Yeah. And then Super Mario World was a horrible show.
It was awful.
Mostly because they Jar Jar Binks Yoshi.
Yeah.
Like, he baby talked.
He was Jar Jar before Jar Jar. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't talk about Super Mario World's show. But the Super Show, Ozzy, go back and watch some of those Mario episodes are good. The Zelda, I'll give you that. They were cringy as hell and bad.
Am I the only one that like John Leguizamo as
Somebody
Luigi?
blowing up their speaker.
No, my wife loved him.
Okay, I'm a big John Leguizamo
We're
fan.
live, so
All
it's
right,
switching over.
here we go.
Everyone, I'm Shigeru Miyamoto. As we previously mentioned,
You.
in
Who's
today's
cleaning?
Nintendo-
Hello everyone, I'm
trailer
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh my
As
God.
we previously mentioned,
My phone just started
today's
auto-playing
Nintendo
it.
Direct
Oh.
will reveal the
What was
first
that?
trailer for the Super Mario Brothers animated
what is
movie
happening
for the
here?
very first time. This
Oh,
Nintendo
Miyamoto.
Direct is also being broadcast simultaneously at New York Comic Con. Hello, New York Comic Con.
Hey,
Hi, we're
It's
not
been
there.
nearly 40
Hi, New
years
York.
since the original Mario Brothers game was released in Japan. Today, lots of people around the world are playing Mario games.
We're playing Mario
Thank
games
you
with
all
my heart.
so much.
Miyamoto, show us the trailer.
Finally, the world of Super Mario Brothers will become an animated movie.
It's had to
We've been
specify
working on this
animated.
movie together with Chris Meledandri from Illumination for a long time, from brainstorming
body is ready,
all
y'all.
the way through production. The time flew by as we were having fun figuring out how to depict the Super Mario characters and world. Now, I'd like to hear from Chris-san, my good friend and great partner for the movie.
Oh boy.
Let's bring him in. Chris-san.
Thank you, Miyamoto-san. I am speaking on behalf of our directors, Michael Jelinek, Aaron Horvath, and the entire Illumination crew of artists.
I might like this
When
Chris better
tell
than
you
Chris Pratt.
that
I don't know.
Producing the Super Mario Brothers
So
movie
far.
with
He works
you
in Hollywood,
and your
so-
team at Nintendo has been an absolute
Crapshoot
privilege.
there.
Our
There you
crew
go.
is filled with Mario fanatics, and they're bringing the very best of their talent to this film every
Got a
day.
minion back there and the
Next week, we complete
The
ape
animation.
from Sing.
We're knee-deep into lighting and compositing.
He's got a
Composer
sculpted
Brian
groove.
Tyler heads to the scoring stage in just 11 days. He's been working hand in hand with Koji Kondo to integrate classic
Oh,
themes
that's
from
awesome.
the game into the film score.
Of course.
Pretty cool.
Koji
Miyamoto-san,
Kondo.
it's been over 7 years since we first started talking about making this movie together.
Oh.
And it is thrilling to
That been
finally
years?
be here to show the very
That makes
first look at
sense.
footage
Wow.
with Mario fans at Nintendo Direct.
That's
and at
like
New
from
York
like
Comic-Con.
business meetings all the way up to pre-production. and
Miyamoto-san,
production.
shall we go ahead and introduce some of our cast?
So we wanted to let the Sonic one
Okay,
go
Chris-san.
first. That way ours could
Now,
be better.
I'll introduce two of the stars from this movie.
Or at least as good.
Both of
If
them
it's
love
equally
Nintendo
good, I'm
games
fine with
and
that.
Made this into a really fun
We
movie.
let them go first twice.
Are you ready?
Growing up, man, I spent hours of my life stomping Koopas in the original Mario
Are they
Brothers
booing at New York
arcade
Comic-Con right now?
game at my
That was
local
Probably.
very
format. And then it
that was a
put
very
on
sus
Nintendo, and I
pause
played
before
that. I mean,
Koopas.
maybe
You had
years
to
of my
read the
life.
card.
It's an honor.
I can hear the
truly,
boos from New
to
Jersey.
Be able to speak to the man who created
That's New
those
Jersey, though.
memories for me,
That's fair.
and it's an honor to work alongside. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to become Mario.
A lifelong dream to become Mario. He said.
Really? I don't know about
That dream, like all dreams, faces one critical
He also watched the
challenge,
Mario Brothers Super Show.
as in the film. I must face off against an utterly
I happen to be
ruthless,
something of a Mario
scene
fan
stealer.
myself.
Every great hero needs a diabolical
Greetings,
enemy.
fellow
Jack
gamers.
I promise you, I could not have been paired with the more perfect king of the Koopas, Bowser, and my friend, the great and hilarious, supremely talented Mr. Jack Black.
Thank you, Chris, but I can't let you have all the fun. Now it's time for us to make this moment all about me.
Jack
While
Black
you've been
and his
dreaming
supreme
about playing
badassness.
Mario, I've been preparing. Look at all this Koopa muscle I've got. And this flowing mane doesn't just
Now
appear
Bowser has
overnight.
to sing.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to learn how to breathe fire? I had to go learn it from Gene Simmons of Kiss.
Shit, that's a badass
All
Koopa
his hard
shirt.
work's been worth it, though.
That
I'm
is.
so proud to
Pretty
have
cool.
been
want
able
it.
to collaborate
I want to
with
know
you
where he got it.
and Miyamoto-san, as well as the entire Nintendo.
If he
and
says Comic-Con, I'm
Illumination
gonna take a
team
train
on
over to
this
the city and go
cinematic
get it.
Experience, one that will make its
See, he
mark on
shouted out
Mario
Miyamoto-san.
fandom forever. Much love.
Trying to get my glasses.
Thank you, Chris-san, Jack-san. All right then. Thank you all for waiting. Let's press the start button.
No, I want to be addressed as Son.
Man.
Okay, I'm
I
in.
want to thank all
Yeah.
of you for being part of this moment with us, and we're excited to share even more
boy.
footage in the coming months.
That looked
looking
good.
forward to
that
it,
looked
too.
really damn good.
What do you think will happen during Mario's adventure in the Mushroom Kingdom? Production of the movie is going well. Currently, like with any Nintendo game, we're working on the finishing touches. I hope you're looking forward to the next trailer. It'll be a great experience watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie in movie theaters. You'll get to see the Mushroom Kingdom on the big screen. Look closely and you'll spot things in all sorts of places. This film can be enjoyed by people of all ages, so I hope you'll get to a movie theater and cheer for Mario. That's all for today. We'll see you next spring in movie theaters.
Protect this man at all costs.
Get like the Pope Mobile, but for Miyamoto.
Basically.
Let's watch that again.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to oversell it, but I thought that was really good.
That looked great.
Yeah.
That looked way better than their other
looked,
movies,
pretty
frankly.
solid.
And they focus more on Jack Black, which I think was a good move.
Yeah.
Bowser looked and sounded great, so that's all I care about.
I mean, graphically, it looks good. Like that to me is the first takeaway. Like, it's the best we've seen that whole universe look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it had that humor, right? Like right there.
With the penguins.
Yeah, the whole penguins thing. That shot of Bowser just standing there. It's like snowballs hit him. Like, that's great.
Man, it's a nice little nod because those penguins get no respect whatsoever in Super Mario 64.
Bowser's mane looked better than mine, and I love my hair.
He does have really good hair. That's a big takeaway from this trailer. Bowser has great hair. Mario still has no ass, though. Did you see the way he landed face first? And it's just like, nope, no backside of that.
No cheeks. But maybe he has to work out and get that going.
All that jumping should fix that.
I honestly, all the voices, like, not really what I was expecting, but solid. Like, Toad sounds like I think Toad should sound, and I thought it was going to be like more like just the general voice actors' voices, right? But like Bowser, like the grisliness, like that growl, and like Jack Black's voice is great.
Yeah.
And then
like,
yeah,
I thought it sounded really good. I thought it looked really good. I mean, there's always like a nervousness when you see something like this, and you're like, please be good, please be good. And
dude,
I thought that was really good from start to finish. High quality voice acting was great. Animation was great. Like, I'm way more hyped for this movie now than I was before.
Dude, also just want to know, Kevin Michael Richardson plays Kamek, the like Wizard Koopa, and he's also I don't know, Principal Lewis on American Dad. I think he was on 24 as well. And like his voice is usually very like bassy, very low, and like that's a like whole other thing right there. That's taking it up a notch, like literally, like octave wise and pitch wise.
Oh wait, we got a little Luigi at the end.
Yeah, we did get a little Luigi. I'm guessing.
I'm watching this over and over again.
My guess is that they both go through warp tunnels and end up in different places at the beginning of the movie. So like maybe like Luigi starts in like on like Bowser's floating island.
I do like that they're embracing the cowardly element of Luigi that we've gotten from Luigi's Mansion for the past decade.
Oh, they're setting this up for a Luigi's Mansion movie series, Ozzy. Like, no doubt. You think about how just beautiful Luigi's Mansion 3 is on Switch, just how cinematic it already looks. Like, that IP should come to...
I was taken aback.
Fucking Samuel L. Jackson's gonna show up and be like, there's like, we gotta go to Splatoon World and recruit like some Inklings or something, or like,
what do you think will happen?
Or Bowser's back. He shows up with a couple blasters and it's all like, Bowser's back, we gotta go get it. It's like the ending of the first Super Mario
game. We're working on the
I'd even like to see them kind of take like the Super Mario Sunshine route, or like, Luigi's Mansion, like Asif mentioned, and meet Dr. Egad and use some of those other weapons that they've been known to use back in the day.
That'd be interesting. I think it's. I mean, you also see like the star power up is going to be probably just the one star, right? And we'll get like the literal like Super Mario at like towards the end of the movie. I would bet where he's like invincible, running through just tons of Koopa Troopas. I also really like the Koopa Troopas they show off in the trailer are all different.
We got a pirate one.
Yeah. There's so much I want to see. Very curious to hear if Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong. Also, yeah, wondering who else they're gonna.
I think they have Anya Taylor-Joy playing Princess Peach. I'm very curious to hear her voice acting for that too. I've always been a big fan of her work. You know, I thought she was really good in I was introduced to her in like Split and Glass. And I thought her work was very, very good. So I'm very curious to see how she's gonna, tackle the Princess Peach role.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Those are my reactions. I'll leave you guys to the rest of it, but I gotta head out. I'm heading over to TwitchCon, and I will be reporting in throughout the weekend. So I'll see you all you viewers later.
Yep. Have a good time out there, Ozzy.
Be safe and have fun.
Oh man, I'm still looking. I'm just running this back over on my computer.
I'll be right back.
A lot of quality animation there, but you think they'll toss any surprise characters that haven't been announced?
No, everything that we saw had already been announced. I guess outside the Penguins, Denny, everything else had been announced.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we even knew Cayman was there.
Oh, I don't mean from like the trailer itself, but I meant just in general, like in the actual movie. Like, do you think that they'll tease from something else? Or major characters that aren't actually on the list for the cast?
I know we're reacting to the trailer specifically, but it's also kind of cool to see, like thinking about all the movies that are going to come down the line, and we're talking about how this could be an origin story and there's going to be follow-ups, but like just seeing how slick everything looked, and if that's like the standard that's been set for the first movie, just knowing that like, wow, okay, so we're going to get a bunch of movies that are all going to be of like this kind of a quality or even a higher quality, and that's cool to see as well. It means that like this is just the beginning, so to speak.
Yeah, that's good to see. I wonder how they're going to handle the merchandise.
Well, they're going to sell all the merchandise, and we're going to buy all the merchandise.
Well, like, Nintendo has a good relationship with McDonald's. They have obviously retail partners. They love, there's like Lego stuff they're doing. I imagine there's going to be a lot of tie-ins, like,
yeah.
I also, do you really think Nintendo's going to release a Mario movie without having a Mario game in the same year?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
I know that they said today's thing was not about games, but it seems
it
like
would be very wise of them to piggyback the hype from one to the other.
Yeah, they're
to
not
your
done.
point. Yeah, no. This is not their first rodeo at all.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Makes the most sense.
I thought Bowser sounded fantastic, specifically.
Bowser sounded really good. He
Yeah.
sounded very, very good. And I can't also ignore, too, how good everybody looked and how
Yeah.
close, like, animation and video game quality are starting to become. Because, I mean, this is still, a couple steps ahead of, like, what we've seen in like, the consoles. But, like, it still feels pretty damn close. Like, I'm very excited for this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big moves. I'm hoping they spend plenty of time with the different toads and such. Mushroom folks. A lot of potential there. Maybe we'll meet some of Bowser's kids. Have them pull up. Let's see here.
Yeah, Bowser's kids would be especially depending on which ones they do and how they do them as well, and almost like their relationship with Peach. I mean, obviously, I know we didn't get any Peach in this trailer. I'm sure we'll get some of that in the next one, whenever that should be. But wow, I mean, there's just so many angles that they can take this Mario film. I am wow.
I'm curious if they're gonna tie Peach and Donkey Kong together from the beginning.
Oh,
Okay, who?
Peach and Donkey Kong, because we didn't see either one of them in this setup.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also Pauline, but I think Pauline might have been retconned. Like
yeah.
Pauline was the original, like female character that Donkey Kong was holding captive in the Donkey Kong games. But I don't think they've announced that Pauline's in this. I think they've. It's interesting that we have a DK and a Cranky Kong, because Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Right? DK is that guy's son. So I guess he's Donkey Kong Jr. Have we ever established that? Is the Donkey Kong and like Donkey Kong Country the same Donkey Kong as the Donkey Kong Jr.?
I was gonna say,
that's a good question.
I don't know. The Donkey Kong family tree is weird. Like, explain how Funky exists. How did that happen?
True.
DJ, you can chime in whenever. I know you're our Funky Kong. There's like a very, very clear origin story that's missing here for Donkey Kong the Third, Rod. That's all I'm saying. Like, we never
agree.
really. And look, we may get to see something there, but God, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong's gonna just. I'm still worried about that.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, Chris Pratt did not sound terrible. Did not sound good. Out of everyone that we heard, I thought Jack Black did great as Bowser. I thought Toad sounds exactly like I want Toad to sound. We didn't really hear Luigi much.
No, we didn't. He just kind of whimpered and did his thing.
Which is kind of... That's like Luigi's thing.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have heard more Chris Pratt, because I think that it's going to take like an extended period of listening to dialogue to like really form an opinion. Like it was.
Here's my opinion on that. Mario is like Doom Guy, is like Link. He barely vocalizes in these games. He's a very silent protagonist. Yeah, he goes yahoo, woohoo, jumps and stuff. But like, he's not a conversational expert, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this is Greg's here to tell us nothing matters. Okay, Nihilist Arby's Greg is here in the chat. No, but like, I think the key here is that we have Toad, and Toad is going to be the main character of this whole story. That's all I'm saying. Like, Captain Toad, that's all you need. He'll tell you, like, think about the game. How often do you hit a question mark block or whatever, and there's a Toad there telling you something? That's like it. That a lot of the game revolves around that. Like, even you go back to Super Mario 3, when you go in those little mushroom houses, and there's like a block, they tell you something. There's a Toad sitting there. Toad is there at the end of the castles in the 8-bit game, right? Telling you the princess is in another castle. Like, Toad has been this method of pushing the narrative. Whatever very small narrative there is in Mario games tends to be from the other characters, not Mario, is my point.
Yeah.
So I don't think Mario, temper your exceptions. That's not a word that you're trying to use. But anyway, expectations, sure, but I don't think this looks bad. I think it's kind of the key.
Doesn't look bad.
You know, I would like to see other people's takes where they're like, "Oh, this looks terrible." I'm like, it doesn't look terrible, and I like that.
Looks
I like
too good.
They started seeing that on social media, but granted, my timeline's not crazy big. But I'm not seeing most of it's positive, and like when you watch a trailer like this, especially with animation, and especially when you're seeing an adaptation of something that so many people are passionate about, like with Mario, there's always this fear of like, oh, please don't be awful. Please don't be awful. And it's happened before. We've seen reveals like this, and they have been bad to the point where sometimes studios rework the entire thing, or they flop, or whatever. And I think that we've cleared a hurdle here today of saying, okay, It's not that. Okay. There is definitely reason for optimism, and the voices are sounding pretty great. The animation, even in that small snippet, looks solid. So
it's probably something they decided to do after being confident about what they've seen in the early work here. So yeah, I think this is great, and it ushers in a whole new year, a whole new world for Nintendo IP. Like, they have been so tight with their intellectual property when it comes to TV or movies. Uh, it's very different than the Pokemon Company, which has dumped everything on the table, done shows forever, countless movies. I think they've seen the Pokemon Company at work. And they're like, why don't we just do that? Uh, and that the whole thing that the guy from Illumination said, about 7 years of probably 4 of those 7 years was them convincing Nintendo to do it and that they wouldn't screw it up. So yeah, I think this is a huge day for Nintendo.
Yeah, and I think to add to that as well too, like I think it's really awesome that they are taking their time because we've seen what happened with like some of the early teasers for the Sonic film, and I still kind of go back and forth with myself on if that was done purposely just to get people talking about Sonic, or if they really thought that that early version of Sonic was the one that was going to fly. But we're definitely living in like an era where people want to do video game adaptations into things like the Tekken animated TV show. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. Very good. But then, there was the Halo series as well, too, that, depending on who you ask, some people thought it was bad. Some people think it was good.
No one thinks it's good, Rod. Come on.
All right. Well,
find one person that thinks the Halo Paramount Plus show is good. Find that person for me, please. I would bring them on the show. We'll interview them, and I'll smack the shit out of them. Because that shit is terrible.
Happened, to be honest.
That shit is terrible. Do you know what they did on that show? Do you know what they did?
Unmasked Master Chief for starters. And
I heard they unmasked him.
No, twice. But then they also had Cortana and the scientists sit there and watch as he had sex with someone. What are we talking about here?
So
wow.
Yeah, this is new information for me.
Look, Denny, I have not watched a second of this, but my same brother who watched Bob Hart's Abishola watched that whole Halo bullshit, and he told me about it. Guy's got way too much time on his hands. That's why he's winning Shaq Pets these days. But no, Rod, no one likes the Halo movie or the show. And the Halo movie had been canceled 50 times already, right? And we have this history of video game movies sucking, right? For a very long time. And then video games based on movies also sucking. So it was like the inverse, right?
Yeah.
And I think in both cases, we're finally starting to get our shit together. That Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out, was it last year or the year before? That's actually decent.
Suicide Squad game looks really good too.
Original Walking Dead Telltale stuff was pretty solid,
Yeah, Detective Pikachu, it worked. Sonic, it worked. Sonic struck gold twice, so I think they're like, we got to do that.
Detective Pikachu was a game before it was a movie.
That's true.
It was a 3DS game that barely anyone played because I think it was only released in Japan at the time. Didn't they announce that they were going to release it on Switch, and then they just never did?
I don't remember. I know they're supposed to be working on another one though.
That was years ago. That they were like, "Hey, we're gonna keep working on Detective Pikachu," and then they're like, "Huh." They're just like, "Who wants to do this?" And then no one did it.
I'm personally glad that the Mario options they didn't go to live action route at all, because while Sonic eventually had some major success after. I mean, the first one was what it was, but the second one at least leaned way more into what it's based on, I feel like. But between that and Detective Pikachu, it was like, we need live action actors and all this other stuff going on. I don't think any of it was necessary for anything Nintendo's doing.
You know what? One thing we learned from today? Koji Kondo is about to blow the doors off with this soundtrack.
Yeah, it should be.
Koji Kondo is the man. This is the guy who did the Mario Kart 8 soundtrack. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Both the Mario Galaxy soundtracks. Just gonna throw that out there.
With the amount of talent involved, I don't know why there's not more crossover from the actual teams that work on the games in those kind of positions and the movie side of things. It's just strange to me that.
We got Charles Martinet. We know that Charles Martinet is going to be in the movie, but he's not the voice of Mario. He's not the voice of Luigi. He's not the voice of Toad. So who the hell is he? I think that's one question, Denny. Is like the actual voice of Mario, who is he going to voice? And are we going to get Wario and Waluigi in this movie? That's something I'm very curious about. I know Waluigi is like kind of an afterthought.
Mario definitely is.
You know, but I would like to see Wario in this universe. But then again, like this is
just the first.
This is going to be 3 movies right here. Like this is a 3-movie. This is a trilogy. It's obvious to me. Like if they're starting it with Mario having no idea what the Mushroom Kingdom is, that means he has no idea who Peach is, right? So like I think there's going to be a very interesting origin story here. But I would say that that's one of the things we've learned is that this is likely a Mario origin story. And it looks like it looks like him and Luigi may be split up. Like it seems like they probably went through a pipe in Brooklyn or whatever, and then they get dumped into various parts of the Mushroom Kingdom, and then they spend most of the movie trying to find each other. That's just my guess from what we've seen.
Some Double Dragon action going on there.
Yeah, that's typically what happens in Brooklyn. Yeah,
because they show him flying through the pipe and landing. So I'm
assuming
that there's the green pipe is up there on the at the start. When you see him fall on the mushroom there, there's a green pipe right there.
Let me see if I missed that.
The facial expressions on Mario look really, really good too. Like,
oh, you're right. It's a horizontal facing pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we know that his first time. I guarantee that him and Luigi were doing some plumbing job at some place, and this just it's going to be similar to how the Super Show started.
Yeah, I gotta assume they're gonna have like an intro sequence of them like in the city doing some kind of work or something, being bros, and then
also just those 3 notes as he falls out of the pipe. Dun, dun, dun. God, I love the attention to detail at Nintendo is just something I fawn over. So it's gonna be
look
really
at his
cool.
clothes. Like the clothes look just like. I didn't think Mario could look any more realistic. Like you see Mario in like his own games, you see him in Smash, you see him in all these different titles, and the detail kind of varies. But like this here looks damn good. Holy shit!
That man is rocking an actual collar and Tim's.
You talking about Mario?
Yeah, Mario.
Yeah, he is.
He's a working man.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is not. Mario and Luigi were at work when this happened to them, is my guess. Man, I am taking a lot of screenshots right now. It's like I said, I'm treating this like it's the JFK assassination. I'm like, okay, I just posted one to screenshots, Morgan. It's a shot of Mario laying on the ground right when those pipe spits him out, but it's proof that there are warp pipes in the movie. I mean, obviously there were going to be, but it seems like they had a plumbing incident that led to this. Is going to be my guess.
It's gotta be it. Or maybe they come from like a world, like a world that's still different, not so like regular like ours.
Oh, I see that link.
Like what if they start off in the original Mario Brothers game, where they're like in a sewer, like fighting creatures. Something like that.
Yeah, that might be the case.
They're clearing.
But I agree with Oscar that they're going to be like definitely multiple films. Once I saw the star, I'm like, you do a lot, different worlds there, multiple stars, giving Bowser more ability to take over things.
Also, a lot of floating islands. I don't know if you guys noticed. Like, first of all, Bowser's Island, giant. Like floating island, but also at the end when you see the larger shot of the Mushroom Kingdom, there's like several floating islands off in the distance. I was trying to see if I could see Yoshi's house anywhere.
Yeah, I forgot about Yoshi
in that shot.
We get some Yoshi
Bowser reveal. That Bowser reveal is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I think they get it. Like this is a franchise that is not just about the main character. There are like I know TJ, you're like a Bowser stan, right? like probably more than Mario, right? Like you collect Bowser stuff. Like you're a big fan of Bowser.
Big moves.
I know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, some of my friends are just Luigi fans. You know, like I think. Yeah, no, sorry. Go ahead, TJ.
Yeah, like everything about the Bowser parts were the parts I was most focused on because, of course, and like everything about that was just so dope. He looks so menacing. He looks so cool. His hair is better than mine, and I love my hair. And and he looks like fucking the main boss. He looks like the main boss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really something.
Yeah, dude. The scales, like the attention to detail on the scales, even like the way like the green scales at the top fade into the more orangish yellowish ones. It's clean character design.
Yeah, everything's got weight to it. Good lighting.
Yeah.
It's just get me every time.
Look at his rumply knee wrinkles. Look at his rumply knee wrinkles on his knees. You don't have to add that, but they did.
Like I had to step out for a moment, but did you guys already talk about the dump truck in the room, or rather not in the room?
Wait, what now?
Yes, the Mario's ass is flatter than what we're used to. I go back to saying that I think this is before he became a little heftier. He was just a working dude in New York. He was working on some pipes. And he looks younger. His face looks younger. You know, even his face looks younger. He does not look like he's not Mario Odyssey Mario. He's probably pre Super Mario Bros. Mario. You know, which goes back to that thing that I don't know who said it, but maybe like they're going to show us the original Mario Bros. Game at some point. Like, when they're that could be part of this. Is like they were in the original Mario Bros. Game. They went into a pipe and it spits them out in Super Mario World. You know, I think there's like a really interesting setup here because Wrecking Crew is going to be a part of this. The Donkey Kong universe is going to be a part of this. So it's like Donkey Kong existed before Super Mario Bros. So it's like I don't know how they're going to chain all this together, but I do think this is an origin story. So yeah, that guy's name is Weisenheimer, the Koopa wizard that says, you know, behold, you know, Bowser. I don't know who's voicing that. I don't think they had stated.
They said Kamek. They said that the character's name is Kamek, and it's being played by Kevin Michael Richardson. That's what I was talking. That's the dude I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
With the like bassy voice.
Wait, so who was it?
Kevin Michael Richardson. Did you ever watch American Dad? He plays Principal Lewis on that. He was also on 24.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a voice that's very low, very low. So when you hear Kamek, this, it's got like a more high pitched raspiness to it, so it doesn't really sound like his normal speaking voice. But you can still tell it's.
This is how Mario is looking at you guys, you know, for hating on his cheeks. Look, all right, you got plenty of time to get that back up.
That's what I'm saying. Like he probably hasn't been eating as much lasagna. Like he was living a working man's kind of life in the city. You know, New York's expensive. Yeah. I think we're looking at a Mario who hasn't saved a princess before, hasn't gotten the cake yet.
Yeah, you know
what I'm saying?
Early on.
He's going to do a lot of jumping pretty soon, so I might imagine, you know, he should be able to work up them glutes, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are we going to see Mario transform? Are we going to see both of them, like, eat mushrooms during this and transform? Like, how are the power-ups going to work? Are we going to see a fireball Mario?
Yeah,
see the frog Mario?
Get the cape action, you know, on Yoshi?
Yeah! Are we going to get the cape? Which is my favorite Mario power-up. Oh, by the way, you should check out our top 10 Mario power-ups video on YouTube. I know Greg linked that on social today.
I'm gonna link it in the chat.
Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, it's top 10 Mario. Do you guys think Mario's an alien? Mr. Sleepy in the chat. In New Donk City, he appears wildly different than any of the humans who live there. I think
we got conspiracies here.
Yeah, there was he had a thread about this week too. I don't think he's an alien.
I mean, most people from New York are aliens, so I mean, there's a good chance he might be one. But He's a lovable alien.
Like I'm not
A
saying
handsome
that.
alien.
New York
An
is still
alien
for me.
without cheeks, but he still is an alien, maybe.
You've been watching too much Men in Black.
Maybe.
Yeah,
All right,
I think we're all more impressed with the reveal than disappointed. So
I think
that's
Greg
good.
doesn't like it, but Greg hates everything.
Yeah, where's Greg at? Greg should be here to give us his thoughts. So we can
he
tell him
needs
he's
to pour
wrong.
water. He needs to pour water on all of our hype. I need a cold water bath. There he is.
Oh,
There he is.
There he is with the folding chair, just coming to bash my head in.
More like a walker with tennis balls on the feet to yell at some clouds.
The wild Greg has appeared. Just hit him with a.
There we go. Everyone's getting alerted when I come into Discord and all the things are
Set the alarms.
Mr. Greg, we've seen the comments in the Twitch chat. Talk to us, man. What's up?
Oh no, so like I'm not like the game. It looks gorgeous. Like I mean, I think the production is great. I think all the visuals look fantastic, and that's not what I'm concerned about. What I'm concerned about mainly is the casting and the story and the world building, because that's what it all falls apart for me. For like the Sonic movie, Sonic movie shot well. Sonic looks great now. Like the visual effects are pretty. Like, but the story is where it falls apart. The dialogue, it's where it's bad. The character development is awful. Like, and Sonic fans don't give a shit because they don't care. As long as Sonic go fast, it's like thumbs up. But like that, I was looking at that stuff. I'm like, So
I like that movie.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah.
The Sonic fans
Why the
cared
fuck
a
are you
lot,
even
though.
coming at us with Sonic bullshit right now? You're really gonna compare Sonic to the GOAT?
Well, first off, what the Sonic
You're
fans
gonna
did
bring
care.
that shit here
Like,
and
they
say
did
that,
care,
oh, because
though.
the Sonic movie sucked. This is gonna suck because Sonic sucked. Fuck out of here.
I'm just concerned because Sonic has like such a rich history in a world,
But
right?
they got,
and
they got the design changed. Like, it was awesome before.
They had
And the
to
fans
delay that
rioted.
movie because it was so hideous.
Yeah.
That there was like internet petitions. There was a change.org made for it.
It could have
You're
been
gonna
way
compare
worse.
that to this? You're gonna compare that to this?
Why are you bringing baggage to a different movie, though?
It's not even the same companies.
So I'm just saying, Mike, and like I think the movie looks gorgeous. Like I'm just concerned about the story, the world building, and the casting because
They got
Chris
me in
Pratt
there,
is
though.
he's just insanely popular right now, and that's the only reason he got the role. Because he's like he's a guaranteed box office number, and they just threw him in there.
You might have missed this, Greg, but you've played Mario games. How often does Mario himself push the narrative forward?
No, you said Toad does, and that was a good point.
He's a very silent protagonist. And man, am I wishing all the wishes in the world that Chris Pratt shuts the fuck up for 3 movies straight.
Oh, he won't.
We let Luigi tell the story. We let Toad tell the story. We let Princess Peach eventually drive the narrative forward. It's like, I just think Bowser driving leading with Bowser here.
To be the strength here.
You want to talk about world building? Greg, did you expect the penguins to be in this trailer?
No, and it sets a good tone for it as well.
That's
like
what
it
I'm
shows
saying.
you what, like in
that's
that opening
world building.
scene, you find out what Bowser's about and what he does without him saying anything.
You want to talk about story and world building? 2 scenes that I think really do a great job of that in this trailer. That first one where they introduce Bowser, which is like the villain shot, and it looks like a Star Wars villain entering like the Emperor, right?
Yeah, that's the moment. That's the rebirth in the
This is
hero's
Mario.
journey.
This is clearly a Mario who has never eaten a power-up.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I just think they say it in the name of the movie. This is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That is not Super Mario. Yet.
What if it's like half live action, half live action? Like like he's in the real world and he gets into the Mission Kingdom. He looks like that.
No,
shut
up. Nope, shut it down, Greg.
No, don't even wish that upon us.
Don't even joke about that.
No, that's what they're doing for Kingdom Hearts 4, and it's going to be terrible.
Okay.
That's what their plans are.
Did you notice that the mushroom that Toad tells Mario not to eat is like
blue?
Looks like the poison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poison mushrooms from the series.
Yeah.
It also kind of he corrects himself to say that one's safe, and it also kind of looks like the multiply mushroom.
Oh, you're right. The one in 3D World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll introduce like multiple mushrooms, or do you think we'll just see the standard like red, red and with white dots and fire flowers?
Oh, we're gonna see a lot of different.
I think you'll see a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Especially if this is a full 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
2-hour movie? Hell yeah. 2 hours. That's great.
I mean, I feel like if you get this kind of situation going, they're going to show some of all that. Because, of course, you hope it's going to be successful, but I think they want to give the fans enough to chew on that they're going to also, buy a Blu-ray and stuff down the line.
It's like Miyamoto said. He wants this to be a film for people who are older and younger. A lot of people our age now have kids, right? Who are either being introduced to Nintendo franchises or already are because of Animal Crossing during the pandemic. So it's like, this is very much Nintendo extending why they are viewed as family friendly, right? Like, it's just going to be, now it's like, oh, you want family friendly entertainment? Here you go. Not just a video game, Like, you want a whole outing for your family this spring? This is it.
Do you think Do you think it'll be like in the Mario RPG, the Superstar Saga that TJ, I know you played that, like they already live like in a world, like in a hut together, and like maybe they find like this is about like hopping dimensions, like kind of a thing? Because somebody said earlier that like they look so much different in Odyssey, like compared to other humans. So how would you make that work in this movie if he is from the quote real world, right?
That was Sleepy's question in chat. Yeah.
I mean, Peach kind of looks different from Mario and stuff too. I know, like obviously in Odyssey, like those are much different looking people, but Mario and Luigi have a very distinct look in comparison to like Daisy and Peach and some of the other human-ish characters,
Well, the mayor of New Donk City is Pauline, and she looks different than all the people there. I think we're thinking too much about that. It might have just been a graphical limitation. Or, you can go find the tinfoil hat article I wrote in 2017 about it. I think Mario Odyssey may be a simulation, Greg. The whole game.
That'd be funny. It's the Matrix, but Nintendo's version of the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
ET Dubs, Morgan corrected me, and they're right. The blue mushroom is the mini mushroom from Mario Party 4. The one I was thinking of was the double cherry.
Mini mushroom. That's a cherry. You're right.
All right. I'm wondering, do you think that the two Koopa Troopas they show, the one that's like kind of cowering in the shell, and the one with the eye patch that looks like ready to murder stuff, do you think they're going to be like side characters in the film? Because they are a little more distinct from a lot of the background Koopa Troopas.
Maybe.
I would not be surprised if one of them joined Mario's cause and like you had like a little ragtag band of trio going around trying to stop Bowser.
Like a Finn in the Force Awakens kind of scenario. Yeah,
basically it would not, because that's such a good formula. It works like across all genres. Really, it works really well.
Well, it worked in Bowser's Fury because you had Bowser Jr. and Mario teaming up together, and it was interesting. I don't know if we're gonna get Bowser Jr. here or the Koopa Clown Car, but keep my eye out for both of those things.
It's hard, right? Because like, how do you avoid having just a checklist, and like, it's got to fit right at the same time? I think Nintendo's got that unlocked. They've got it figured out, right? They've got that. How much do we show? What do we show? What do we keep in? What do we leave out?
Yeah, because some characters just actually can't exist without others. Like you have to see certain ones before the others, just for it to kind of make sense.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious what they do with Donkey Kong. He's gonna be in between or an antagonist or helpful in this situation.
Yeah, because originally Mario and Donkey Kong are enemies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it goes back to what I was saying. Like, who is this Donkey Kong we're talking about?
He'll need his help to defeat Bowser.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the warp pipe to his kingdom or something like that. I also think it's going to be a bit more of a cameo than a major role. Like, I think they'll end up spending a little bit of time there, and there's just going to be some comedic banter between Seth Rogen and Fred Armisen playing Cranky Kong. And then they'll, like, go on the adventure. Or the other thing would be, like, you see Bowser in the beginning going to the Penguin ice world, and then Mario's being introduced to the Mushroom Kingdom, meets the princess. Bowser comes, takes the princess. Now he's got to go on an adventure and rally the troops. That would also be a cool little like meet back up point for him and Luigi, right? Because if Luigi obviously doesn't come out of the same warp pipe Mario does. There was no scene where he falls on Mario or something like that, which I was kind of expecting, honestly. But then you see him like being chased. He's gonna end up in a like haunted mansion or a cemetery or something, and that's the like turtle bones are gonna start popping up, and he's gonna
ghost
freak
house.
Out.
He's gonna end up at a ghost house, and he's just gonna be like, ah. He's always afraid, right? So like this is the perfect scenario is that Mario gets dropped off with Toad and Luigi's just in hell instantly. Like that's the path of the tortured Luigi. And they got that right. It seems like they got that right. But to my point, like earlier, I definitely don't think we saw the beginning of this film and any of these clips. Like I think that we're gonna see something like very early in this timeline. And I think that could be a place where Donkey Kong exists. The other thing is maybe Bowser invades the Donkey Kong country too, you know, and that's where we see DK first. So it's really hard to say what's going to happen here. But
I would love to see a Donkey Kong Bowser throwdown. I would love to see that. Like just right beginning of the film, like Hulk versus Thanos in Infinity War. Obviously,
or like
with
Cranky
a
Kong.
much better fight put up. Yeah,
like Cranky Kong versus Bowser, and then DK has to avenge him.
Oh, that'd be so good. Oh, that'd be so good.
This is all I'm saying. This is exciting times.
I think they're gonna start with that Bowser thing. I think there's gonna be more to it, but I mean that was like straight out of like episode 4, where you see the Star Destroyer chasing the Rebel spaceship.
I agree.
Like, it was a very similar angle.
Very strong Star Wars vibes from that first clip. No question about it.
Yeah.
And even Force Awakens kind of vibes. Honestly.
I think Blake's right on, like, again, like, just because he's gonna, Bowser's gonna take over the kingdom. He's like, I have the star power now. No one can stop me. And then it's gonna cut to exactly what we saw. I think that might be the opening. Like, that's a good opening. Like just thrown into this world. You have no idea what's going on, but that Bowser's bad.
Nah, they're gonna give us like a little bit of a backstory. I think like
Mario's doing taxes on his plumbing business.
We're gonna see them in like the basement office of their place, and like. Times are tough. They can't even afford spaghetti. I think things are. These guys don't look like the Super Mario Bros. Yet. So I think we're gonna get to watch
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we're gonna see them evolve into Super Mario by the end of this. That's what I think's happening. But yeah, I'm excited. This looks great.
Yeah, I'm glad that I wasn't disappointed.
I wonder if they'll sneak in John Leguizamo in here at all.
I mean, he just came out of I think he was in Encanto. He played Bruno, so he's on an animation kick right now. I'm here for it.
He's got a great voice for voice acting.
Yeah,
I don't know, this scene where like Toad and Mario are heading towards like the Mushroom Kingdom village. Like I really feel like Yoshi should be on one of these paths. Because if you look at it, it's kind of laid out like the overworlds that that we started seeing in Super Mario 3. Like you see all the roads, and you can see another little area that has like a fork or four branching paths, like over to the left.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't.
Yeah. Like I feel like
Yoshi lives on an island.
Yeah, but there's all sorts of floating islands around too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Yoshi could be on any one of those islands.
Have they confirmed Yoshi? Like, is there a voice of Yoshi? I don't think so.
They haven't.
They haven't confirmed. No, I don't think so.
Here's my theory.
Yoshi could also be non-verbal.
Yoshi might not be in this because Yoshi didn't show up till Super Mario World. And if this is, let's just say they're going by the video game.
Yeah.
This is Super Mario 1. Then 2, then 3. We don't get Yoshi till World.
I think the Penguins throw that out the window. Also, the Dry Bones didn't show up until Super Mario 3.
You're right. The Penguins were in 64.
Yeah. So I think it's just going to be. I think it's just a lot of world building. I think that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be like, oh, we're starting with 1. Like I'm really hoping to see like I want to see Mario's cape. I want to see the Tanuki suit. I want to see the hard hat. I want to see.
Nobody
it all,
wants
man.
to see the frog suit.
I want to see the frog suit and the cat suit and the
doubt we
magical
get-
flute.
Yeah,
I want
Cat
to.
Mario. I don't think we're gonna get to Cat Mario.
I want Lizzo to show up with a magical flute.
Is
at some
Cappy
point.
gonna be here? Like, are we gonna see Cappy in this? I doubt
Yo,
it.
Cappy would be dope. Dr.
You know what I mean?
Egad and Cappy would be crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we can get all of this. We're not gonna see Flood. Like, I don't think Flood's gonna magically appear in this movie. Like,
No, we're not going to get everything for sure.
We're
We're
not going to.
save some
We're not
stuff.
going to Isle Delfino, probably. You know, like I think that I agree that Yoshi should be in this just for fan service purposes.
For
but I also think
purposes, I feel like I'm
yeah, but I also think back to Mario 64, where you didn't get Yoshi until the last after you got 120 stars, and you got to the top of the castle. That's when you got Yoshi.
I feel like they're gonna talk to Peach, and Peach is gonna recruit them to go get Yoshi or some other characters to help them.
I think it's definitely going to be a save Peach scenario. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be interesting. But you're right. Yoshi doesn't have to talk. And in fact, if they just used Yoshi's sound effects, I would be happy with that. Like if it was like a very, very like 4K ass looking Yoshi, but it's still like like whatever. The Yoshi noises that they make.
I feel like somebody's got to be like the voice that tells Mario that he's the hero in this scenario. The same way that you get in a lot of other, stories like this. It won't just be him.
Yeah, it's always the thank you, Mario. You need someone to say thank you, Mario, here.
There is definitely going to be a point where you think he is rescuing the princess and she's in another castle. That is gonna happen.
That's definitely.
I think it's going to be Luigi. Like
that saves the princess?
No, that's like they find in the castle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was lava and stuff. Maybe they swung by. Real
I don't
quick.
know. There's a few ways I'm like seeing how things could work in my head. But honestly, I really like those last few moments. I think if we are going with Cowardly Luigi, then Charlie Day is a really good pick. That guy is such a good screamer.
Yes.
That looks like a fortress that he's in.
I'm going to the Luigi part now.
Oh, yeah, you were right, by the way. That Koopa Trooper with the eye patch, he's definitely a character. Like, he is definitely going to be in that movie in a bigger sense than just a lackey. Like, that guy has too much personality to not be.
Yeah. You've got, Luigi's running through a haunted forest, being chased by zombie Koopas. And then he goes into what looks like, what is that door? It looks like a castle door.
That looks like a castle door. So
Yeah.
I think it might be a fort. Like a fortress?
Yeah.
I think that's a fortress.
But it could also be like a haunted house door. No, that's a castle.
It could.
The castle.
You're right. It could be Bowser's castle too.
It is. It's just. I think it's just one of the mini boss castles. I bet it's like one of the Koopa kids in there.
But that's what I'm saying. Like like in Super Mario 3, there were like the smaller fortresses, and then there were like the bigger castles in each level, right? I think this might be a smaller fortress.
The castles were run by the Koopa kids, right? Like each world had like the big castle with the Koopa kid in it.
Yes.
Yeah, like his generals. Yeah, he treated them like their generals. So like, they all have their own territories to manage.
Yeah,
I have the lore on this one. They are his nephews on and as far as I remember, they are all the Koopa kids except for Bowser Jr., who is his actual son, are like his nephews and nieces.
Oh, in the movie or just in the lore now? I always thought they were his children. I always thought they were his kids. Wow, I learned something today about Mario. Thank you. So that's probably, I would imagine, since there's gonna introduce at least a few of the Koopa kids in the movie. Like they've announced that, I think at least 2 of them are in the film. So, I mean, he could be like trying to hide and meet one of the Koopa kids right there, and that's how they introduce him in the film.
I do like how Chris Pratt was like, "You're gonna love Mario's voice," and it's literally just Chris Pratt just doing Chris Pratt. It's just like, I showed up and I'm doing my thing.
Yes, Jack Black seemed a lot more convincing as far as his actual hype for the film in comparison to Chris Pratt. In that conversation.
You know what I think would be really cool is if they kind of did callbacks to the games, like in various ways, I guess more like Easter eggs. Like for instance, the speed running that goes on in like Super Mario 64. If they had like a little like kind of tongue in cheeky little Easter egg like about the speed runs or like how he can fall through a world or fall through a floor or something crazy.
They're gonna throw that one of those penguins off a ledge.
I'm sure by the third film it gets some Mario Kart action.
Yeah, Mario Kart.
Man.
What if that's like one of the things he gets introduced to in like the Mushroom Kingdom?
He's gonna go on a tour. Yeah, he's gonna go on a tour. He's gonna be like, "That's our kart racer, and that's our tennis court, and that's our baseball field."
Well, they have a kart in Super Mario Maker 2 in the new the Super Mario 3D World style of levels. You can build like kart levels, so it could be that kind of thing. I think Mario Kart itself would lend itself to being a TV show like Wacky Racers, in my opinion. I also feel that way about Smash. Like, I think Smash should be an anime. I think Smash would be like the greatest anime of all time if they did that. Obviously, you have to start with the Nintendo characters and build from there. But yeah, like I think they're gonna try to stick to just the Mario games, like the core series, because there's so much, like to your point earlier, Greg, like there's so much of a universe to build out there that like why distract people with kart or golf or tennis?
Yeah, that's
like,
something down the way probably. They're going to explore maybe a short. I guess he'll do.
I need a Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I think
kart for the holidays or like
kart would definitely. I agree though, Dan. I think kart would be a great like animated short series, kind of like what they did with Pikmin.
Yeah.
But I also look at like every Smash character reveal trailer ever, and I'm like, if you could turn that into a show, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just the amount of production that goes into that, and Nintendo Pictures, the company they just acquired, has done a lot of those already. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where this goes. But yeah, like it really does seem like we're gonna get some callbacks to things that I don't think people remember. Like I don't think many people know Wrecking Crew at all. So I think that's gonna be
especially younger kids.
Yeah, and then like in true Nintendo fashion, like what are they gonna reboot with this? Like I can't help but look at this and be like, this is a vehicle to sell more video games for them too. Like they're not just like, oh, we're gonna make money on the movie. They're like, no, we're gonna make money on the movie, on the official hat, on the official whatever, And I just think there's gonna be
them tying in something for people that own a Switch already. Saying
Yeah.
Even if it's like you get a deal on the tickets or something.
Mm-hmm. Or like tying it to Nintendo Switch Online. Like there's some kind of thing.
Yeah. Wait for it. The Nintendo Metaverse.
Oh, God.
It's called Miiverse.
Miitomo. Bring me back Miitomo.
Look, Miiverse was way ahead of everybody else with that whole thing. Like, I'm sad that it's been relegated to Splatoon. But yeah, Miiverse was ahead of its time. And now, no Metaverse. It's the Mario Cinematic Universe is what it's going to be. The MCU.
I think Nintendo Cinematic Universe. I think they're going to go beyond Mario here.
Well, yeah,
I don't think they want Yeah, but we're not gonna have Mario and Link hanging out. There's gonna be like a Link. There's gonna be like a Zelda show. I think Zelda should be a show. And then it'll be Mario movies. This is 3 movies.
I remember they had tried to tie
Zelda could be its own thing, sure, but I think you got Donkey Kong in there already. Like, there's other Nintendo products that they can tie in to like a connected universe as well. Like
Mike Tyson's gonna show up.
I don't think like Punch Out's gonna show up, but I mean,
Lil Mac and Mike
get his own property.
I mean, Captain N kind of did that. Like they had King Hippo and Mother Brain,
Mega Man.
Yeah, Kid Icarus.
I would love to see a Metroid show.
Simon Belmont.
I think Nintendo's like a little more cautious when it comes to this stuff. Like it took so long for this movie to be made, and like I don't think they're gonna have the Disney approach where Disney likes to have like 75 projects planned out 10 years in advance. Like I don't think Nintendo's like it may be a trilogy, but I think Nintendo's gonna make this and then be very cautious about how they approach going forward. I don't think they're gonna line up 3 movies back to back to back. They're gonna it's gonna exist by itself for a few years before there's a sequel or before there's even talks of a sequel.
Well, you have to up that kind of scale too. I mean, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do during a pandemic.
You know what helps? Buying a motion picture studio.
Yeah. Because you have to keep in mind that, like, you know, I think they had more confidence in this because remember they had originally announced that there was going to be a Zelda Netflix, collaboration happening. Then I just
That was
mysteriously
just a rumor
for a while.
Yeah, I think that's just a rumor. I don't think it
was
ever.
just a rumor.
It never made it past rumor phase. Nintendo has never acknowledged it.
I feel like Zelda would be the biggest
like
franchise outside of that for them to
it's NBC is huge. Do you think Nintendo could buy NBC Studios? Like,
No.
do they have enough money?
Oh,
No, because Comcast owns NBC Universal. NBC Universal owns Illumination, and Comcast is like a $300 billion company. No way. But what I'm saying is, Nintendo bought Nintendo Pictures, and they've already launched it. Like, they're doing their own thing. They're gonna create their own content. They bought
the
a
same way
studio.
they got like the Minions movies and everything else are like constantly in some kind of rotation because that's what the studio does.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo's going to buy a studio the size of Illumination. No, but I think that Nintendo may create their own Pixar internally. That's what I think we're going to see.
That's a decent pivot.
They do have really, really talented artists at their company already. And now it's like, can you imagine being an artist at Nintendo and not having hardware limitations?
Yeah, that's
true. So like, I think that's what's going to be interesting here is that I talked about Smash trailers. I talked about, I don't know. I know Breath of the Wild, that art style gets panned a lot, but I think there's some of the cutscenes in that are very artistic and would look amazing in 4K. You know, I know people have Breath of the Wild running on CMU or whatever, but I'm saying like actually built for the ground up for 4K.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of stuff like that.
There's a lot of potential. But there's also like the idea of this being a new avenue for them financially. If it is as successful as it could be, if it becomes $1 billion franchise on a film side, you know, it's a lot easier to put together more projects to put out.
Well, the IP now is worth more than it has been in like years. Like, I mean, like, how much is Mario? How much is the Mario IP worth? Like, just think about that. Like,
just the licensing theme park alone. And everything else going on now.
Yeah, it's got to be insane.
Gee, I don't know, Greg. If Call of Duty and all of Blizzard are worth $70 billion, what do you think Nintendo's worth?
10 times that, easy.
10 times that? I'm rich.
Link.
No.
Link.
Sorry.
I mean,
$700 billion. Let's fucking go. No, it's right now the company's valued at around $50 billion. That is not that outlandish, given.
That's crazy. I thought it would be more.
That's kind of why I won't shut the fuck up about buying it, because it's ridiculously cheap.
Also, I actually just posted about that a second ago. Is that this trailer? Like, Nintendo are the masters of doing more with less. They work within their limitations and they make their games look amazingly good for the limitations that they have to deal with the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
But like a movie like this that looks so damn good that makes these characters pop so much is kind of a compelling argument for Nintendo to design a platform in which their developers and their animators and their artists don't have to work with those limitations. They can create without having to fit it into a constrained platform.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying
it helps that Miyamoto is still around too. I think when creators start to die and properties get sold off, you lose a lot of that. You know, you lose a lot of that personality and that care because it's like, who gives a shit? Now we can put them on a T-shirt and a toothbrush. They do that already, but still, like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, if you look at Odyssey, look at Odyssey, Greg. Miyamoto did not have much to do with it. That team that he has created understands the best practices of the company, and I know Steve Jobs is dead too, but like there are people at Apple who understand the core philosophies of Steve Jobs, and I think Iwata, passing away, like. You see how Sakurai has carried Iwata's torch, for all of the development of Ultimate. And I think that's true of Miyamoto. I think that was true of Reggie before he left the company too. But I just think that there's a different level of respect at Nintendo for their history than you see at most companies. I agree. I think there's going to be like a sense of reverence for people who work there now to not fuck up the IP and not do it. But TJ, do I want a 4K ass Nintendo? Yes. God, yes. That would be amazing. Like a true Nintendo device that could compete with PC, Xbox Series, whatever, and PS5. Yes, that would be cool.
Oh yeah, the console war is over at that point.
But they're not. They don't do that.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Though.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Nintendo loses the spark of creativity or like loses some level of quality if they do that. I'm saying that how cool would it be if Nintendo's development team wasn't constrained by the limitations of the current console?
It would be amazing. And
they're big on creativity always, so I feel like the creativity would still be there regardless, but they'd have more options about limitations.
It also makes a good point about that too. But the thing that I like to throw back to this though, at the time when GameCube came out and was competing against the PS2 and the Xbox, it was the most powerful console on the market, but nobody cared. That was 30 years ago, but still, like, you know what I mean? Maybe they learned a lesson from that, being like, oh well, like no one cared when we had the most powerful console on the market. Let's just focus on, like then you said, the creativity.
And I mean, the right combo of both at the right time. So timing is always important.
You know, Greg, I don't know if you watched the GDC talks from Iwata after the failure of GameCube, because you can call GameCube a failure. Granted, it outsold the Stadia, but GameCube was a failure. Wii U is considered a failure, even though it's the GOAT. But yeah, like they had a philosophical change. It wasn't about being the biggest, the best, the most expensive game. It was about being fun. And you see the pivot that they made from Cube to Wii. Wii was ridiculously underpowered compared to PS3 and compared to Xbox 360. But it outsold both of them. So, like, Nintendo will sacrifice specs in the name of affordability for consumers, which the Wii was affordable. It was like $200.
Yeah, you know? There were a lot of grandparents buying that.
And you look at the 3DS, the 2DS, the DS, the DSi. Those are affordable products for a family to buy, and they last a long time. The DS, my DS still works. My 3DS still works. And
look at the Switch. It's like about to surpass everything, and it's still selling quite well, and it's still like $250 to $300.
It's and entering a global recession like we are, consumers are looking at Switch versus PS5 or Switch versus Xbox Series X, and you are saving money buying a Switch. You're also
gonna get your hands on one if you wanted to anyway.
And that's the thing. Like, you look at the install base Nintendo has right now versus its competitors with their new systems. They're killing them. Nintendo can just release a Pokemon every year and bank on making at least $600 million from it. Like, you can't. Sony does not have the amount of PS5s out there right now to do that with any game. Like, maybe God of War might be that first game to do it. This winter, if they get their supply up for PS5s. But like
2 years into the system cycle.
Nintendo is not sleeping on this. They have a new high-end Switch in development, no question about it, but they are not going to decide on final specs until they have to. And right now, I think the one story about the Nintendo Switch financially that people are sleeping on is this is the first console cycle ever in the history of Nintendo that they are able to sell into China. That is huge. That is a massive market. And affordability is super important there. So I think that's something that, from a unit sales standpoint, people are sleeping on. And yeah, stuff like this, I think, can continue the Switch life cycle longer than it probably should. I think that we're now in an era where consoles last 10 years, not 5. And if you look at it that way, we're really we're just entering the second half of the Switch's life cycle.
True.
And that means, like, what would be a Nintendo-ass thing to do? Is release a smaller Switch. One that's smaller than the Mini. Or the Lite, sorry. Like a Switch Mini. Like, I think if you gave me a system that could play all my Switch games that fits in my pocket, I think that would be very valuable when compared to a Switch that plays in 4K that has shit battery life. Like, if they made a good pocketable system because that's where the Switch has lagged with the people who are buying DS in Japan. You know, like 10, 15 years ago, if you went on a subway in Japan, you saw DSs everywhere. Now, you don't see any Switches on subways or trains because they're too big.
Yeah.
Unless you're on like a really long trip or something. You see smartphones.
You could
So I'm
see
saying
them
like
into the
if,
mobile market more if they had a smaller option.
that's what I'm saying. Like you already have a small form factor there, Denny. You're right. You can bring your IP to that. They have Pikmin. They have various games that they've brought over there to varying degrees of success. But I'm saying something that could actually fit in your pocket that could play Switch games, I think would be way more valuable to that company right now than making a high-end console. At the same time, though, I do agree. Like, I would love to see an unchained art department at Nintendo, and I think we're kind of seeing that here with this collaboration between Illumination and Nintendo. And it's like, oops, we accidentally made ourselves into Pixar. You know, I think that might be the takeaway here, is that Nintendo has a Pixar studio in development at their own company right now.
Yeah,
But,
if we have that kind of scale, I feel like bringing in that amount of money, if it actually is successful, maybe they'll take more of those risks on the game side.
Yeah.
It'll be easier to kind of...
It's also up to NVIDIA. Like, I don't think that, you know, now that Nintendo has merged their mobile or their handheld line with their console line, I really doubt they're going to go away from that model. Like, I think the Switch, the convergence device that the Switch is, it's here to stay. Like that framework. I don't think that we're going to see it split up again. You know, like there's not going to be...
I don't see that either.
So, like, we know this is the equation for them. So that pigeonholes them into, well, then you can only use these chip frameworks, right? Because Nintendo doesn't have, like, an N-series chip. They use NVIDIA Tegra chips. The beauty here is the longer they wait, the better the NVIDIA tech gets whenever they do decide to make a next console. But in the meantime, if we get movies like this, I don't care.
I just hope that they decide to like make some moves with the flagship on both the creativity side, and if they were to go that route, there's a major game on the Breath of the Wild level that they're able to launch with, instead of it being a situation where it's 2-3 years down the line.
Well, I think that's what happened in Metroid Prime 4, personally. I think that they had it in development, and it probably pushed the console too far. And they couldn't make a good Metroid Prime 4 on the current Switch hardware. I've thought that for years. You know, because the online, terrible, right? And we've seen frame rates in handheld. They're not great. If they wanted to make like a really cool Metroid Prime, I think that would be a good flagship game to launch with. And I know it's not the most popular IP or anything, but like that game itself is very coveted.
Yeah, Metroid fans are diehard. Like, you can get a lot more people involved, especially if you had like an enhanced collection of the other games.
And you could argue that Metroid is probably the most popular it's been in like 30 years because of Dread.
Yeah, definitely be a good time.
I'm also thinking of that game competitively too. Like a lot of the stuff that's happening with Splatoon, I'd love to see that with Metroid, just to again bring more first-person shooter fans over to Nintendo.
Yeah, because Nintendo does not have the shooters. Does not have COD, does not have Battlefield, doesn't have a lot of games.
They're not big on violence either, really, right? Like, they don't really like violent video games. Or am I wrong? Usually.
I'm
thinking first party stuff.
I think it's still going in. So, yeah, first party.
I mean, in terms of, like, first party stuff, yeah.
Because even when you think about, like, the GameCube, where it was, like, the big deal on GameCube was, like, Resident Evil exclusives.
Yeah, RE4. RE4 was big.
And then Nintendo was like, here's Star Fox Adventures. And I'm like, oh.
That was Capcom, though, right? That was Capcom making a game.
We also had Rogue Squadron 2, though, Denny, and that was kind of lit.
That was kind of lit. I played hell of that game.
Yeah, just saying, like, yes, there was Star Fox Adventures. We could talk about it. But there was also Rogue Squadron 2, and that game slapped. And then there was Monkey Ball 2, Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 3.
Prime, and then...
Monkey Balls are fine.
You had EA Sports titles on GameCube. Like, you don't have all the EA Sports titles on Switch. Like, you're right, Greg, that GameCube was the last time that Nintendo was actually top of the line when it came to hardware specs. But they were also Nintendo, and we're like, we're not going to use CDs, we're not going to use DVDs. Here's this proprietary disc format. You know, like they always find a way to do that to themselves.
You can
so
bring
like
it to your friends. You know, if you handle, you can carry it around.
yeah,
I just like the
handle and GDs,
The
because GDs
handle.
are the
I forgot
future.
about the handle.
Yeah,
I would just like to bring up to the idea that Nintendo doesn't do violent first party games. The way you defeat Crocomire in Super Metroid is to push him into lava acid, and his skin sluices off of his skeleton as he tries to climb out.
Metroid is violent, no question. But like, I guess we haven't seen many shooter games from them that involve killing people. It's always like shooting random alien enemies, or in Splatoon you don't really even kill anyone. I do think that Nintendo will always be family friendly, but like they launched Wii U, the GOAT, with Zombie U, which was violent as hell.
That shit
like,
was.
And I know that wasn't their game.
The bat and stuff you can smack zombies in the head with.
Yeah, so like, I think this generation specifically, they've been pretty open to violence. Like the GTA trilogy, as shitty as it is on Switch, and it runs really poorly, but it's there. I think that is a problem that they are going to have to deal with, though, at some point. Like, some of the best game experiences can't happen on Switch right now.
Yeah,
and
like,
that is a problem.
What if you wanted to play like whatever the new Witcher ends up being?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's not.
I mean, did you see The Witcher 3 on Switch?
I wish I didn't, but
it's a pile of crap.
It's not good.
Like that's the problem here, and I agree. Like, it is going to be a problem for them, but once again, they can just release a Pokemon game, make $600 million in a quarter, or put Mario on anything and sell 5 million units. Because the addressable market of Switch is now 100 million units. That's massive. Yeah. You know? Like, I think people are sleeping on that. And it's happening at a time where there's supply chain constraints for their competitors. So, like, they can go all in on software here right now and end up making a fortune.
They can sell versions.
Isn't it on track to surpass the DS?
Yeah, I think
it depends.
It's on track, I think. Yeah, to surpass
it's a tall order, Greg. They still need to sell another 50 million units. Like,
right. So I think I read something about projections. Right, if it continues to grow at this rate compared to the rate of the DS, it'll eventually surpass it in the next like 3 years or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I predicted that it would outsell the Wii.
It was around for so long. That was the
remember that, Greg?
Do
you remember that? So remember that Stuff That Sucks video where I said it was going to outsell the Wii and you said it was going to suck, and I was right. You were wrong. Remember, Greg?
The Wii seems like so long ago. Like, I can't even remember that long ago.
Oh no, it's on YouTube. You can go find it. Go Google that shit. Stuff That Sucks. Greg and Asif arguing about Nintendo Switch, and Asif being so right, and Greg being wrong. RONG wrong.
Are you concerned with the?
It happens.
The Steam Deck news today about there being any kind of?
I'm really happy for Steam Deck. Like, good for them. They've sold 1 million units, I guess. Is the rumor. There are probably 300 million people who have Steam accounts, so that's not tremendous penetration for that. But for a first gen effort, that's pretty great. I think competition's good, because to TJ's point, we're not going to get a Switch Pro unless someone enters this space and does something to make Nintendo think, oh, we should do this. You know what Nintendo did last year? They saw Steam Deck and they're like, oh, let's put OLED on it. That was like it. And it worked. It super worked. The SWOLED has outsold the Steam Deck. No one wants to talk about it like that, but it's a fact. SWOLED has outsold Steam Deck.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was watching that Mario trailer, and like halfway through it, I was just like, God damn it, Steam Deck.
Steam Deck ruined all Nintendo Directs for me. Even this one that has nothing to do with video games. I love that. I love that Nintendo's like, they read that article, and they're like, you wait and see, GameSpot. We're going to start doing Directs that aren't even about video games. And it worked. I mean, that's probably my favorite Direct we've had in a very long time. And it was short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Our analysis of it, on the other hand, has not been short and sweet.
People are saying that there's an Italian version of the trailer that is apparently different than what
he's supposed to be Italian. The Italian version is probably better, because Mario's supposed to be Italian, not white. Not white. dude.
The French Mario I hear is pretty good, but there's a trailer running around right now where folks spliced Charles Martinet's voice over Chris Pratt's line.
Was it better? I want to see it. Link it. I want to see it. Is it better?
Hold on, I'll go track it down.
No, it was redundant. Yes, it's better. Yes, it is, TJ. It is better. Anything's better.
Yeah, I think if there's character involved, it's just, I don't know, Chris Pratt is so generic to me at this point.
He really is. Like, I mean, I think he's a talented actor. I don't know how. I know he can do dramatic, but I don't know how much a range he has because he's always playing funny guy running away from large things.
I didn't make it through the Jurassic Park.
I mean,
they put together, so I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't. That wasn't his role in Jurassic Park, and he's done like 2 or 3 movies where he's like a military bro.
Okay, I just watched. Well. I watched this the Italian trailer.
I think you've only seen like 2 things that Chris Pratt has been in, Greg, and aren't actually familiar with his work. I don't think I agree with the sentiment though. Like, I'm not super stoked about Chris Pratt being in the movie or just kind of being an it guy right now in general, but. Like,
Italian Mario is so much better.
Where is it? Where can I find Italian Mario?
I'll throw it in our general chat on Slack.
Is it like Italian Spider-Man?
No, it's like Italian Mario, and it sounds great.
I mean, it's not really. I mean, like Arnold has no range either. You know, Arnold's the same thing in every movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
sometimes
it's not.
You get what you pay for, but it's like
yeah,
you know what
Chris
Pratt
established that Chris was the worst Chris. I thought that was already established before.
You know what you get with Chris Pratt? You get some guy that'll go on Jimmy Fallon for you, and people will watch. That's what you get.
True. That's
you get
true.
your brand in front of gajillions of people because it's Chris Pratt. And like it does sound like almost like spreadsheet analysis when you talk about it that way, but this is a business. They're not doing this to lose money. You know? Like, they want to make money here. And this is the beginning of a whole new division of their company. So like
I personally feel like people are going to latch on to Jack Black more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Jack Black.
I didn't even recognize him. That was the talented. I think he sounded completely different than.
He has an amazing voice. Like Jack Black is super talented. Like, I think that's a great one. I think Charlie Day is going to work
and stuff like that too. Is going to be more of you don't know what to expect necessarily from an interview. So I feel like he would be able to get quotable moments out of that just from going on tour. Whereas it's like Chris Pratt will probably be asked more questions about what's it like stepping into the role, and they'll be like, "Well, I loved Mario growing up, and yeah, mushrooms," and then that'll be it.
I spent 6 months in a bunker to develop Mario's voice, and this is what I came up with.
Yeah,
French Mario sounds good. I just found this little clip on Twitter.
French Mario.
I put it in our general, but it sounds good.
I can't wait for the Chris Pratt interview where he's just like, I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos.
Oh my god!
I mean,
I like Italian Mario more.
You have to think of the word Koopa for a while.
So maybe we can, like, I don't know, maybe we can dub a version of this after it comes out. So it's like Mario's always speaking Italian and has subtitles, but then everyone else is just speaking English. Then we'll remove Chris Pratt entirely.
He does.
It's kind of like that edit. It's kind of like that edit of Moneyball that I requested, where I was just like, "Can we get rid of Bobby Kotick in Moneyball?"
Wow, I forgot about him.
Yeah, everyone forgets that Bobby Kotick's in Moneyball until you see him, and you're like, "Ah," because I love that movie. But then Bobby Kotick shows up, and I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Both of those voices, by the way, the one that you linked, Asif, and the one that Rod linked, he sounds more characteristic, like more like a character than just Chris Pratt doing Chris Pratt. Like, oh man,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'll watch the Italian version and then instead.
It seems
give me
like
the Italian version of Mario with subtitles. I'm in. It's the only negative thing I have to say about the whole movie is Chris Pratt's voice does not fit.
Now we'll see what the Japanese version sounds like eventually.
The Japanese is probably awesome. Oh my god,
it'll be great. You know what I want? I want a Kirby movie.
I'm here for that.
Kirby. I would really like to see a Kirby movie.
You got a TV show, and the TV show wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good.
Kirby Right Back at You?
It's pretty good, yeah.
I love that show.
Considering, it's really good what they had to work with. Except King Dedede's voice is really weird. It weirds me out to see him talk. I don't know why. It just doesn't fit.
I can see them doing a Kirby show or something like that, or a short at least. I don't know if they would do a movie first.
I know it's off subject, but do you guys remember the first time you heard Bowser talk in Sunshine? Like, what was your reaction to that? Because mine was like, "Oh my god!" It's like, what is
I don't
this?
remember
Why
the
is Bowser
first time
talking?
anymore, but I'm sure it was surprising at the time.
It was jarring at the time. You're like, "What?" Bowser's like, "Hello, son. Let's go kill Mario." You're like, "What? What?"
Yeah, see, there's definitely potential. I think Nintendo's got it right here, but we'll have to see if things move on in a way where like maybe they'll take more risk of the lead character in some of the other projects. That's not a Chris Pratt type. Because
Yeah,
I mean, the reason like they do like you see a lot of animated films, not just with Illumination, just in general. There's a lot of star power behind them, like a big name, and the reason they agree to do that so easily is because they get residuals internationally for films, even though they have nothing to do with the poster. So they make just a shit ton of money just in a booth, you know. And voice acting is acting. I'm not saying it's not work, but like, you know, they make more money in a booth for a week, and then when it goes to France, Japan, Italy, they're still getting a percentage of that. And I don't think the dub actors do.
Like, you know, the same reason why Javier Bardem is in Lyle Loud Crocodile. Because they know you're gonna get that check. But I just hope they like if we get the Zeldas and you know the Metroids down the line that they take more opportunity to maybe get people involved. They're gonna be bringing some kind of, you know, character to the actual role. And not just we were getting them for that voice because, as you can see, people know Jack Black and Jack Black's voice, but yeah, he's bringing something different to the role.
Yeah, it could have been a directing thing. Like they're like, don't do the voice, Chris. Just do your thing. Just be Chris Pratt. You know, it could have been a directing thing too. Like they just, you know, because there's only one language,
like,
right?
You know, it's also playing it safe with the first big project where we also haven't heard Luigi, so maybe Luigi would be a bit more out there compared to Mario Straight Man when they play off each other that way. But since you got like Donkey Kong and eventually you had Diddy Kong, you know, or like there's pairings there that might end up working better.
Donkey Kong's like a character you could make work without having him talk, like just having him grunt. I think he's one of the few characters that can do that, like on screen in an adaptation. Like you don't need him to talk.
I feel that way about Mario.
That'll make him more scary too, like Donkey Kong not speaking when Mario's actively trying to talk to him. Like, what the hell are you doing? And he's just kind of grunting and doing like weird noises.
If he doesn't say okie dokie, though, I'm gonna be kind of mad.
He's gonna say okie dokie, but in that really bad CGI animated show.
No.
That's the voice you get for that Donkey Kong.
I really think there should just be like a point in which Mario gets hit in the head during this movie, and then Charles Martinet takes over.
Oh God, I wish I'd throw money at that if that was the case. Like if they had casted him, I'd throw so much money at it to actually be Mario.
It's just to throw us off here to have Chris Pratt in the first couple scenes and then switch him out. That would be crazy. But I would not complain. That would be like
that might be the surprise.
He said
he's
in
the
it,
wrong mushroom, and then suddenly it's the voice is
it affects his vocal cords, and suddenly he sounds like the Mario guy that we know.
That would be amazing. Like that's the thing. Like if Charles Martinet was not in this at all, people would riot. I don't know I don't know how big of a role he has. I'm gonna guess it's not very big. But like if they didn't have him in there, people would be pissed.
It's a big role, Greg. He's featured on the
he is in the list. The other ones
on the list of all the actors. They wouldn't have done that if he's not. I think he's gonna be like a lot of character. Like people don't realize how many characters in the universe he does the voice for.
Too.
So like, I think it'll be some of the lesser characters, I guess.
Well, I'm glad he gets the opportunity to get some residuals from whatever ends up happening with the project down the line.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like they're having fun with the trailer. Like I laughed at the trailer. I like when people people take movies too seriously sometimes, including myself. But like I like when people have fun in the movies, but the fun also has to like make sense and like fit in the world. It can't just be random fun. You know,
so,
like
for instance, Charles Martinet voices Mini Mario.
Oh man!
And we already saw it. We already saw the. I'm not saying in this movie. I'm just saying like in general. He's been the voice of Mini Mario in the past.
Small Mario when he shrinks, he's gonna be small.
Voice
Mario.
of Luigi, voice of Gooigi, voice of Wario, voice of Waluigi, Baby Luigi, Baby Mario, Dr. Mario.
I could see that.
He's also Metal Mario. If we get Metal Mario, it might be him. It might be Gold Mario. Just saying, these power-ups could change the voice. I'm saying that the power-ups could... We haven't seen Mario with a power-up yet. And I'm just holding out hope that his vocal cords will be damaged when he eats the first mushroom or something.
If something touches him, does he shrink in the movie? Does he get really small?
That's what I'm wondering too. Like, is he gonna
get giant Mario in there,
or does he have that like pie chart health in 64, Greg, where you have like 3 pieces of the pie? Or
yeah. If he picks coins, do coins heal him? Like, how does he heal?
Yeah.
Have him breaking bricks out here.
Yeah.
Give him
I don't know if we're gonna get Wario or Waluigi in this, but those are 2 characters I think he may be doing. He's also the voice of Shadow Mario, Greg.
Yeah, that dude is a very talented man, and I hate seeing talented voice actors be overturned for just a popularity contest in Hollywood. It just sucks.
I'm calling it.
I'll go ahead, TJ.
I'm calling it right now. There's going to be a part in this movie where Mario seemingly dies. He's going to be Bowser's going to take him out, or someone's going to take him out. And there's going to be like a super short scene earlier in the movie where he pockets a green mushroom. And at the last moment when everybody's crying and be like, "Oh God, wake up, Mario!" that mushroom is going to pop out of his pocket and like save his life, and everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah!"
Not the Pokemon
like the
movie
bomb in the live action movie. Okay. They do that verbatim in the live action movie, TJ. They take the bomb and they put it in their pocket and they use it later and it saves them.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yep, that's what's gonna happen. It's green mushroom's gonna save his life.
One of his first jobs as Mario, Charles Martinet also did the voice of Bowser in Mario 64, the grunts and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see where Charles Martinet falls in all of this.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be like in the Matrix. He'll enter that computer room, and it'll be Charles Martinet playing another version of Mario, being like, "You are part of an anomaly."
Yeah,
you're not the first Mario to come into our kingdom.
Sure.
Yeah,
there've been.
I'd buy that. Yeah. Where there has been multiple generations.
The Mario verse. Yeah. Into the Mario verse.
Was it in the Matrix? They destroyed Elysium or whatever the city was like 9 times. This would be the 10th time. I forget how many times. It was like multiple times though. They
Zion. Yeah.
It was like the 10th time they'd done it. Like,
if you want to stop this place from being wiped again, Mario, you need to step it up over here.
Break the loop, Mario. Break the loop. I can. I'm Chris Pratt.
Yeah, but yeah, overall looks pretty good.
I'm happy with it. Considering what this might have been 10 years ago compared to what it is now, I think that we should all be satisfied.
I think it's it's typical Nintendo, right? Like, it's late. Like, you could have done this a while ago with their IP, but it's kind of timing out really well for them. Where this is going to look visually, it's the best Mario's ever going to look. Like, we haven't seen Mario look like this. The universe look like this.
If it was like 2010, you would have had Chris Pratt with Mario, and they would have been like driving in a minivan or something. Going to pick up Princess Peach.
Yeah, it's going to be a buddy cop movie.
Yeah,
like Lethal Weapon, but with Mario.
Yeah, they would have.
Oh, Danny loves Shane Black. He's such a good writer.
They would have brought Shane Black back again. They would like to ruin another franchise. The 15th time. Oh yeah, you guys waiting for this? He was hyping that Predator movie. He hyped that Predator so hard, it was awful. I was like,
I recently watched that, Denny, Lethal Weapon, for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and that end fight sequence is the most jankiest, dumbest thing I've ever seen. They have the bad guy dead to rights. They throw down all their weapons, and all the cops just stand there looking at him. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what? Like, just arrest him. Like, why are you letting them fight on the lawn? Like, somebody arrest him.
People keep hiring this man.
Weird.
I just don't understand.
Really bad.
What's going on here? As soon as he was like, "Yeah, the Mandarin is a good idea," everything since then has been.
I touched the Shane Black button on Denny. He really doesn't like
he gives me reasons not to.
Right? Yeah, I'm not saying it's not justified. I'm not saying it's not justified.
He's like, I need a buddy cop scenario in every film I do, and a random child.
And a kid.
And a kid. I need those two things to play off of. Like Don Cheadle, you're fitting in. I'm gonna put you in this Iron Patriot suit and have people heat up your crotch for some reason. No reason at all, but just because, we need some comedic timing here for a little bit.
By the way, when Donald Glover, like, I thought when he says I'm getting too old for this shit, I thought he only said it once. He says it like 10 times in that movie.
Yes.
I thought it was only like a
Yes.
one-time thing. Like at the very no, he says it like a bunch, like all the time.
Yeah, it's like a catchphrase, and it's true.
When you see Shane Black like is also involved in the scripts, then you understand.
It's not Donald Glover; it's Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Danny Glover.
Danny.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Donald's Childish Gambino.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Donald's. He was also on Community, but yeah.
You probably would have saw him in the 2010 version of this movie too. You know, they probably would have put Donald Glover in there. You know, maybe gave him.
Yeah, it was before he had destroyed the Star Wars franchise.
Put him in there with Toad or something. You know.
Also, you said Koji Kondo does the music for the Mario movie, right?
That's what they said.
I'm looking at the script. That's definitely a Nintendo thing, because I guarantee you, Universal's like, we got all these great composers that we can slap on there, and they're like, no, we're gonna do.
Nintendo's like, I'm gonna stop you right there. We have the GOAT. Look what he did with 8-bit processors. Look what he did with 16.
Yeah,
Look what he did with 64.
I put my foot down on that too. There's no way in hell you're gonna put somebody else in that role.
I would argue that Koji Kondo is one of the greatest electronic musicians of all time. Like, everything that he's done with synthesizers is amazing, and then you give him like an actual orchestra, and then go listen to Mario Galaxy soundtrack, or like didn't he do like the Wii Sports menu theme? And that song slaps. Like, he's done so many things that you're just like, you didn't need to go this hard, Koji.
Full score now, and you know,
because you heard it like, when he falls out the pipe.
It's not Koji Kondo. It's a guy named Brian Taylor.
They just said it.
Oh, that is fucking depressing. Oh, he did all the Avengers music.
Yeah, I think they had Koji Kondo
They just said it. They just said he was involved.
Okay, I mean involved, but like not. He didn't make the like. He may have been involved, but Brian
Miyamoto said it. Who's your source?
IMDb.
My source is Mario's dad. And he just told me. This is some IMDb
He said that they were
shit.
delighted to have Koji Kondo involved again with the soundtrack. So yeah,
this is like Nintendo will not let you do anything with their IP without a rubber stamp, and Koji Kondo is the rubber stamp for music, and Miyamoto is the rubber stamp for art direction. I think is what's going on here, and story. They will not let this movie come out. Like, dude, maybe Koji just gave them the MIDI. Maybe he's like, here's the MIDI files.
Here's the
only use these. If you change a note, I'm gonna come to your house and beat you.
I need a cinematic epic version of the
Oh yeah, the Underworld 1-2.
Oh, but a cinematic, just beefed up version. Oh, that'll be mean.
You gotta have that when he gets the face to face with Bowser. You know.
Also, the Bowser's Castle theme, man. I want a cinematic one of those. I want the Mario Galaxy theme to somehow make its way into this, because that to me is like one of the best songs in the history of Mario. We already heard the 8-bit like do 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 when he comes out of the pipe there. But yeah, I don't know, Greg. Maybe there's someone in charge of it over at Illumination.
There might be someone doing engineering and stuff. And the sound design on that end.
But like, if Koji Kondo is like similar position as Miyamoto on this, I think it's just as good. Like, he's not gonna let it be shit at all.
Yeah.
The directors are like fairly new too, like, which is not. I like that. I like when Hollywood's like, "Hey, these things look kind of cool," and they're giving you a shot to try to do something this big. Like, obviously, you said it's Nintendo's stamp of approval, so they approved all these casting decisions on the crew. I'm sure for like music and direction and writing, like I'm sure they stamped it. So I have faith in Nintendo. It's Hollywood I don't trust. Universal specifically, as the Despicable Me films went on, they got more and more like immature fart humor, and just like the first one's cute, and then they just get worse. And like I don't want to see that happen to a franchise like this, you know.
I think that's why it's taken 7 years, because Nintendo's not letting that happen.
I don't need a fart joke in a Mario movie. I really don't.
Some of that kind of humor and route, and they were told no.
Yeah, yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't. They're not gonna make fun of themselves in this.
No.
I can see them like having that script reworked multiple times, because there were moments where they were like, "Yeah, no, we're not going that route."
Like what you are doing. Like, we get why you're doing this, but no. You know what I mean? Like, I can see that happen.
Toad's voice is shift pitched, by the way. Like, that's shift pitched. Like, that's not. It's Keen, right? That's doing his voice.
Yeah.
he's doing his thing, but I think they're hitting the octaves up in post to make him sound more like Toad.
It's like how Butters.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I'm fine with that. Like it gives him character rather than just Keen doing, you know.
Greg,
his
did you watch the 25th anniversary concert for South Park?
Yes.
You saw how Trey and Matt had like different mic stands set up for when there was vocal modulation versus not.
Yeah, one was
cool.
for the octaves and one was for normal.
Yeah,
I mean, cool. Matt can still do Cartman's voice. It just strains the hell out of him. So in real time, but
yeah. But yeah, that was great. If you guys haven't seen that, you should check it out. But sorry, we've basically taken over Pop Goes the Culture today.
That's okay. It's well worth it.